That evening, the little child went out by herself with 6 pit bulls. Then she did an astonishing thing. One canine breed that has a bit of a negative reputation is the pit bull. They are strong, stocky, and occasionally very vicious and dangerous. You may therefore appreciate the anguish and concern a mother felt upon realizing that she had left her 4-year-old daughter alone with her 6 pit dogs. However, the mother was shocked by what she saw when she found her daughter and the dogs. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Pit bulls have always belonged to Laura, a 31-year-old financial consultant from Brisbane, Australia. She loved the breed so much, in fact, that she had accumulated quite the collection and was now the fortunate owner of 6 of these gorgeous animals. She knew that although the breed was generally kind and amiable, there were moments when it could be ferocious and nasty. She'd never had any problems with them, the only fierce fight being when it was feeding time. The dogs began fighting over food one day because they were all eager to eat. As a result, one of the dogs ended up getting bitten very severely and needed to be taken to the vet right away for emergency care. The veterinarian urged Laura to think about giving up her pit bulls and cautioned her about the risks involved with owning them. Laura, on the other hand, declined, citing her dog's excellent behavior and the possibility that it was just an unlucky one-time incident. Laura was a dog lover. Nevertheless, Laura recognized the issue and made a concerted effort to prevent it from happening again. She even went so far as to feed them separately on occasions when they appeared to be too active and raucous. Laura always remembered that the pit bulls were strong animals that could suddenly become hostile if something irritated them, even though there were never any issues after that. It made her nearly develop a phobia. She would spend hours playing and petting her pit bulls, and she had an unconditional affection for them. On the other hand, she was afraid that it might occur once more. Laura never lost her acute awareness of the pit bull's propensity to suddenly turn and attack, and her sensitivity only grew stronger with the birth of her daughter, Tasley. She always kept the dogs in a different room while the baby was around and never let them alone with the young girl. Every time the kid was carried into a room, the pit bulls would leap up at the gate with enthusiasm, as if they were interested in her. But Laura never allowed them to get too close. More than anything, she wanted to let them be together. But once more, that fear took over. Laura also wanted to keep her dogs and daughter as far away from one another as possible. Tasley's curiosity with the pit bulls rose as she got bigger. They would all yell and shout in appreciation when she threw them goodies from the other side of the room, their tails wagging maniacally. However, Tasley's mother would constantly warn her about the risks if she got too close. Laura would tell her that although the pit bulls were gorgeous and amiable, they could become aggressive and even attack Tasley if they became very aroused or hungry. Laura would try to hammer this point home to Tasley time and time again, but her curiosity never went away. Tasley had no fear of the dogs because she loved them so much. Actually, it seemed like all they wanted was to have fun and make friends. However, something unbelievable occurred a few days after Tasley turned 4, leaving Laura completely shaken. After putting Tasley to bed, Laura went to take a bath. Since she was going to let the dogs run about the house, she took care to shut the door behind her, as she didn't want one of them to break into Tasley's bedroom and harm her. She then closed the door, put the dogs outside, filled the bathtub, and spent roughly 30 minutes simply soaking and unwinding in it. But Laura noticed something odd as she got out, began to dry off, and put on her pajamas. The dogs were not audible to her. Normally, they would stray into and out of her bedroom or the bathroom, but they were nowhere to be found. Anomalous, Laura considered. But Laura observed something that sent shivers down her spine as she emerged from the restroom. Tasley's bedroom door was wide open, and her daughter was nowhere to be found in the room. Her daughter was missing. Where was she? Where were the dogs? Her phobia immediately raised its ugly head, driving a knife deep into her heart and filling her with panic as all of her fears were coming true. Laura hurried out of the bedroom in complete fear, inspecting every room upstairs before sprinting downstairs. Her mind was racing, picturing every terrible scenario that could happen if her daughter and the pit bulls got into a fight. Her heart was pounding out of her chest. Perhaps Tasley was okay and safe. The best thing would be if her presence didn't annoy the pit bulls. However, it's also possible that they were attacking her out of annoyance and rage, as Laura had witnessed them do to one another years before. How could 6 pit bulls, enraged and hungry, harm a helpless little girl like Tasley? It was not worth considering. Even yet, she could not stop crying as she ran to the bottom of the stairs and looked in every room, hoping to see her daughter. But she was astounded by what she saw as she dashed into the kitchen. Tasley was surrounded by the 6 pit bulls, yet it didn't seem dangerous at all. Indeed, the young child appeared entirely composed and in control of the circumstance. The fact that the dogs were all sitting peacefully and appeared content to be around the young girl added to the shocking aspect of the scene. But for what purpose? The girl was giving each dog a gift from her hand, but first, she was making them wait and lift a paw. She had a handful of dog goodies. Laura observed Tasley with curiosity as her horror faded. Why was she giving them food like that? Why did she not find the 6 large, heavy dogs terrifying? And why were the dogs acting so kind and submissive? Laura moved to step in and stop Tasley, but as she did, she noticed that one of the pit bulls was chewing on the goodie in Tasley's hand. Laura informed her mother that the dogs and she were just playing and that they were best friends. With a frown, she questioned why her mother had never let her play with the dogs earlier, given how kind and gentle they were. With only a weak excuse in hand, Laura watched as the dogs all tidily completed their treats before following Tasley outside into the garden, where she attempted to teach them new tricks and played games with them in the balmy evening air. Some dogs preferred to just sit and enjoy the sunset as their food digested, but the rest of the dogs were intently observing Tasley to see if she wanted them to roll over, lay down, or stand up. They had it all worked out and were gladly obeying Tasley's directions before nightfall. When Laura heard her daughter give instructions to the dogs in a firm and commanding tone, it warmed her heart to see her 2 favorite things, her infant daughter and her dogs, getting along so beautifully. Laura had no trouble letting Tasley and the dogs interact after that. When it came to keeping her toddler and the pit bulls apart, she acknowledged that she might have been a little too controlling and cautious, and she also understood that her worries were unfounded. Laura also noticed that her fear had vanished, and she was beginning to understand that pit bulls merely desired their owners' affection and care. Tasley played with her favorite pit bulls every single day, and never once did they consider biting or assaulting her. They actually appeared to relish the attention and the opportunity to pick up some new skills. The young girl and the 6 dogs went on to develop a very intimate and loving bond that became stronger and stronger over time. It simply goes to prove that even canines with the most sinister reputations may have tender, loving sides as well. It's also true what they say about not judging a book by its cover. Pit bulls are amiable and social animals that will only become aggressive or fight if provoked. Fortunately for Laura, her daughter met 6 new lifelong closest friends in addition to helping her overcome her unreasonable fear. So now it's your turn. How do you feel about this tale? Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.